Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Sunday to the tribe. Excuse me. Happy Sunday, tribe. What's going on? Happy holiday weekend. Hope everybody is having a great weekend. I'm just glad that I have an extra day. Got tomorrow off. For people who don't have tomorrow off, I'm sorry. All right, y'all, let's get into this. I missed last week, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. I never came back and did a review on last week's episode because, honestly, it just wasn't giving me a whole lot. Like, I feel like last week... Uh-oh, is that toothpaste? Hold on, let me get this toothpaste off my face. I guess y'all can tell I just rolled out of bed, child. I did take a shower, though, so don't start talking about me. I did take a shower, honey. Forgot to put my watch on. It's still upstairs. Child, we'll try to get down here and get ready for the people. But yeah, so like last week's episode of New Jersey wasn't giving me nothing. Martha's Vineyard, like I missed a week, but that's why I really, once I watched the episodes, I was like, there's nothing here. So I'm just going to double up New Jersey, and I'm gonna double up Martha's Vineyard with the reunion, and I'm just doubling up on this rather than trying to do a bunch of videos last week on episodes that really were lackluster. That's how I felt about it. Now I'm gonna go through what I remember from last week's episode. I have a few notes. If anything happened that y'all want me to address, just put it in the chat. If I'm forgetting to talk about something, just put it in the chat. Because honestly, I just don't remember a whole lot. I did go back and watch some of it, but I wasn't going to rewatch that whole episode. I'm just telling y'all the truth. I'm just telling y'all the truth. Now, I'm going to say this right here, right now. For part 2, for last night's episode, I'm going to probably say some things that the millimeters ain't going to like. So if you a millimeter and you're going to be offended, I'm telling you now, you can either go ahead and you can exit, or you can, keep your opinion respectful. I ain't saying you can't have an opinion, but keep it respectful, okay? All right. Excuse me. All right, let's go. So we had Mel and Nell meeting up. They went to go play pickleball. Nell, Nell, is a liar, and I don't respect it. You sat there and had a totally different conversation with Mel than what you had with Stormy, and I just don't respect that. Mel was like, why did you come to the podcast? And you was like, oh, well, you sold out so fast. And, like you made it seem like you really wanted to come. You just couldn't get a ticket. And Mel was giving you that side eye, like, girl, stop playing with me. First of all, Stormy told you she had an extra ticket. You could have used one of hers. Second of all, you could have called Mel and you could have got in there. Now, I'm going to get back to this whole podcast situation when we get to Kimmy and Letitia and Mel. Because, well, actually, I'm going to say it now because I might forget to say it. Y'all know how my brain works. I might forget to say it. What I find very interesting about this podcast situation is this. Even though Nell lied about why she didn't go, because she didn't want to go, because you was in your feelings about what you felt like Mel did to Martell, because you said that to Stormy. So that's number one. So, I appreciate the fact that she apologized, but the problem is you apologizing for the lie. You're not apologizing for the truth. So I can't even take your apology into consideration because you're apologizing for what you didn't do. Like you're not apologizing for, well, I really was in my feelings about what happened, what you did to Martell because I misunderstood or I didn't have all of the facts and I didn't want to come to the podcast. You apologizing because you like, yeah, you're right. I could have tried harder to come if I really wanted to. So, okay, you apologize, but what you apologize for. But let me say this about this podcast situation. Once again, this is an example of of Carlos King being messy. There's absolutely no reason in the world why anybody on that cast didn't have tickets to that show, especially the women. Carlos King, first of all, it's your show in your city and you're their boss. This should have been a mandatory group scene for the ladies. I feel like all of the women should have had to be, at the very least, should have got a ticket. Mandatory. Well, yeah, mandatory. It's your job. I feel like this should have been a mandatory group scene. I feel like Tisha and Kimmy, Nell, Stormy, Hell, even the new girl, this Trish girl that they trying to shove down our throat. We're gonna get back to her because I got some feelings about Miss Trish. But even this Trish girl that they trying to shove down our throat, all of them, it should have been mandatory. Why? I don't understand why any of them should have had the option to not be there. It is your boss having an event that's being filmed for the show that you're on in the city that you live. I don't understand why this was an option. The only thing I could think of is one of two things. Either one, Carlos didn't originally intend for this to be part of the show. It was just going to be on his YouTube channel, which I don't believe. I believe it was always intended to be on the show. Or two, Carlos wanted to create these scenes for drama for the show because there's really no other reason why. There's honestly no other reason why. Because I'm going to tell you a little tea. Y'all ready for a little tea? Y'all ready to hear this little tea coming? Y'all ready for the chinga-chinga-ching? Get your teacups out. Y'all ready? Because I know that's what the conversation was here in DC. And those women are in a much worse place than the cast currently is in Love and Marriage Huntsville. Tisha and Kimmy and Mel can film scenes together. We saw it happen in this episode, right? They're at a place where they could be in the same room and film a scene together and not end up arguing and fussing. I don't think the ladies of DC are at that place yet. They are not in a space where they could be in a room and film. Hell, they got into it at the damn podcast. That's the part I think that's the tea I forgot to tell y'all. I don't think I ever did come back and tell y'all that tea. How Jamie ran his ass up on that stage and him and Ashley got into it, and then Quick ran up on the stage to defend his wife. I don't think I ever did tell y'all that part, did I? That happened right after I left, y'all. Okay, time out. Let me give y'all a little that DCT, because I don't think I ever told y'all that. Yes, honey. They got to talking about social media and the people on the social media, and Ashley was talking about how Jamie was on social media and how things are worse because Jamie be on social media, and Jamie ran up on the stage and took the mic from probably from Urena child, and him and Ashley got into it on stage, and then here come Quick. I didn't even know Quick was there, and then Quick ran up on stage to defend his wife, honey. Listen, so the fact that they were told, the women of DC were basically told, this is your job, get your ass to that podcast. I mean, in so many words, that's what they were told. If you are planning to continue with Love and Marriage DC, you will be at that podcast. Now, I understand it's a little different because they were on stage and Kimmy and Tisha weren't supposed to be on stage. But my point is, that is some messy-ish that's coming from Carlos, because I don't feel like it should have ever been a conversation about whether Melody invited anybody or not. It wasn't Melody's event. It was Carlos's event. She was a guest. And I just feel like all of them should have been there. So that's part of what I was going to say when we get later on with Melody asking Kimmy and Letitia why they weren't there. And out of all of these people, I respect Kimmy the most, because Kimmy said, well, I'm just going to tell you the truth. Your people ain't very nice, and I wasn't here for it. Like, period. I respect Kimmy the most, because Kimmy was like, listen, I'm gonna tell you straight up why I didn't come. I didn't come because your people are not very nice, and I wasn't here for it. That's it, and that is all. I can respect that out of all of the women that tried to give Melody some bullshit. But like I said, I don't feel like that should have been on Melody to invite anybody. I feel like that should have been on Carlos and the production of Love and Marriage Huntsville, especially since it was on the show. And not only was it on the show, but it introduced a major storyline for the show. You had Sonny and Moses up there. Like, it introduced a major storyline for the show. Anyway, so there was that. Nail asked Mel about Martell getting arrested and stuff like that. And Mel was able to give more details, which I think gave gave Nell, Nell, a little perspective. I think it gave her a little more perspective as it relates to what happened with Martell. Okay. Then we saw Stormy meeting up with Tish. Tish is the new friend that's coming on the show. Her and her side chick, side man, sorry. Her and her side dude, Ken. Because what we found out in episode 2 was that she is still married, but her and Ken are living together talking about marriage. Now, I found it very interesting. Now, I was watching Scotty before I went live, and Scotty was saying how we knew before the season started that they were still married, that tea got spilled. I missed that tea because y'all know I really wasn't following everything Love and Marriage Huntsville. So, don't let me forget to talk about Maurice before I get off here, because you know I got something to say about that. But I found it very interesting that we just blew over that whole. We're gonna get to that. Let me say this. I will find it interesting to see how that information is received as we continue through this season. Because I find it interesting that we just blew right through the fact that them two were still married, yet they living together talking about marriage. I feel like if the situation were reversed, we've been trying to call Kimmy a side chick for 8 years, and then they was trying to call Nell a side chick. And I find it very interesting that nobody seemed to have no smoke for Ken. He a side dude, right? Wonder why he only featured Melody as opposed to the entire cast. That was messy in itself. Right. I agree, Jessica. I agree. And I think that, to me, doing something like that in the city, now if he had done that in a different city, maybe. But doing something like that in Huntsville, to me, that is so Diana Ross and the Supremes before, when they were still just the Supremes and everybody was trying to single out Diana Ross, right? That was very Beyonce and Destiny's Child, even though they were still Destiny's Child, right? We know that Melody is the breakout star. Nobody is going to question that. Nobody's going to argue that. Melody Holt is the breakout star of Love and Marriage Huntsville. However, it is still an ensemble cast. And I do think it was messy for him to do that in Huntsville, film it for the show, and make it a part of the storyline, and you did not extend it. It's clear that he did not extend it to everybody. It's clear that he didn't extend it to everybody, because why did Stormy have to buy tickets? Like, I mean, that's great that Stormy bought 4 tickets. Nobody on that show should have had to buy a damn ticket. Like, can we... Why should anybody who is a cast member who is employed by Kingdom Reign Entertainment should have been on that show? I mean, bought a ticket. It should have been complimentary tickets at the door. Carlos should have called them personally and said, you guys have tickets at roll call or at the door or whatever. Just go to the box office or come around back. Because first of all, they shouldn't have had to walk through the front door like everybody else. They should have been able to come in the same way Melody and Moses and Sonny, everybody else got up, and Carlos got up in there, is the same way everybody else should have got up in there. Now, I know in DC they ain't come through the front door because I was out there. I know he ain't come through the front door in DC. I don't know who Lance Fletcher is, Natty. Tell me who he. I mean, I'm assuming he's I'm assuming he's connected to the Fletchers, but I don't know who that is. So tell me who he is and what he got arrested for. Thank you, I appreciate that. That favoritism will create further division, which plays into the crazy ass family. Exactly, little baby, and that's why I say, Carlos. Anyway, can y'all hear me now? Or better yet, here's your call sheet and time, and we're filming. Right, little baby. Exactly. Okay, so let me keep going, child. I'm still on episode 1, honey. And episode 1 really ain't give me all of that. So we meet Stormy's new friend, Tisha. She's introduced to us. We find out that Tisha and Stormy have been friends for a very long time. We found out that Courtney knew Tisha as well. Tisha has gone through a very tumultuous time. She was in a marriage that she was trying to get out of. Now, in episode 3, that y'all tell me if I'm wrong because I don't want to be insensitive at all. But in episode 3, it sounds like they alluded to the fact that her ex-husband was maybe borderline abusive. Did y'all get that vibe? That she was saying that he was, I mean, she didn't say that he like physically assaulted her repeatedly, but what it sounded like was that maybe he had a really bad temper or their fights got really nasty and ugly. And did y'all get that impression? But in the first, in episode 3, it sounded like she was putting it on him, right? But then in last night's episode, she sounded like she the one with the aggressive issues and the anger problems. Is it me? Or was she saying that she developed that as a result of the marriage? Well, he ain't the ex-husband, child. They still married. Like, help me out. Because I almost feel like we got 2 different stories from last week to this week. Last week, I felt like it was more, he did this, my husband did this, my husband. It was so horrible. It was so miserable. I got depressed. I went inside of myself. I didn't come out because I didn't want to talk about what was going on. And also, last week, did she not give us the impression that they weren't married anymore? Did I not get the impression? Right, because Stormy was calling him Mister. Exactly. And if listen, if nothing else, when somebody calls a man Mister, and you know they're referencing the color purple, come on now. You already know what that comes with. So, side piece and handcuffs. You know what Jessica said? So is it safe to say the theme for Huntsville will forever and always be side piece? Baby, it's going to be side piece and handcuffs. It's side piece of look at this. Child. These pants I have on, I just took them out of the laundry. Why I still had the fabric sheet, child. Why was in the pocket though? How I get in the pocket? Anyway. So, but then this week it sounded like it was her, and Ken was so things were rough in the beginning, and she was so violent. Even her and Stormy was talking about how they used to have weapons and stuff. I was like, now this had been 2 men having this conversation. Y'all already know. If this had been 2 men having this conversation, y'all already know how that would have went. But anyway. Stormy talks about how her and Courtney are going to do a surrogacy for their second child because of all the complications that she had, so forth and so on. Then we see Stormy like knives. So then we see Stormy and Courtney go to buy Courtney a new car, and they talk again about the surrogacy. Can I say something? Let me say something. I like Stormy. I do. I like Stormy. I know some of y'all don't like her, and that is fine by me. Look, I like Stormy. I really do like her. But watching Stormy's scenes, I like watching paint dry. Her and Courtney, I believe her and Courtney are really in love and that their relationship is real. But I believe that they are so self-conscious when they are filming that it comes off so boring and so dry. And they have no chemistry when they are filming. Is it me? And I think when people were complaining about last week's episode and this week's episode, I think it's because there were so many scenes with Stormy. We had Stormy and Trish at the charcuterie bar. Then we had Stormy and Courtney going to buy that car. And that scene lasted way longer than it needed to. Then this week we had like 3 scenes with Stormy, right? And Trish is boring too because she can't talk. She mumbles. You can't hardly hear her, even with a mic pack on. You can't hardly hear her. Can we talk about that too? I ain't trying to nitpick, y'all. I promise you I'm not trying to nitpick. But can we talk about the production of this week's episode was really bad? What I mean by that was there were times when you couldn't hear people. I don't know if they were covering their mics. I don't know if the mic pack wasn't working. I don't know if they didn't have everybody mic that needed to be mic. But did y'all notice that? That there were scenes where you literally just could not, like, people were sounding muffled and mumbled. Like, Trish can't talk. I need you to open your mouth. I need you to articulate your words because I can't understand nothing you saying. And then on top of that, there were times when I don't know if you were covering up your mic pack. That scene with Destiny, Tisha, and Kimmy when they were down in Kimmy's office, like you couldn't hear Destiny. Like, was she not mic'd? Okay, that's a production side note. But let me know if I don't want to sound like I'm being nitpicky. Y'all let me know if I'm nitpicking. Y'all let me know if I was nitpicking, okay? But did y'all hear what I heard? Because that's what I had heard. Okay. Hey, Powerful. What's up, boo? So let's get back. So yeah. That whole scene, it was like paint dry for me. Like, we get it. You getting a surrogate. Got it. I got it. Courtney bought a new car. Great. That's all I really remember. That's the only notes I really had from last week's episode. So let me get into this week's episode. So we have I wrote Trish and Kim. Oh, that was the other thing too. My bad. Hold on. Let me before I go. Tish, is it Trish? She wanted to make sure it was cool for her to train Letitia because Letitia and Stormy with their beef, right? And Stormy was like, girl, get your money, do what you gotta do. I ain't mad at you. But I can respect that as a friend. You check first. I can respect that as a friend. I'm sorry, Melly. Are the commercials long today? I'm sorry. I have it set on the same setting I've been using. If it gets to be too much, let me know and I'll change the setting. All right. But it's the same setting I've been using. Maybe because I haven't been live in a couple of I ain't been live in 2 days? Well, no, I did a live on Friday, so it shouldn't be tripping like that. All right. On my notes, I wrote Trish and Kim. The Trish and Kimmy, see, Mel, Kimmy, and Tisha. If something happened in that scene, I don't know, because all I wrote was Trish and Kim. But then I wrote Mel, Kimmy, and Tisha. So I see where Mel, Kimmy, and Tisha went, and they were doing a little gardening situation. That looked like a cute little something to do if you have friends that are into gardening and planting and stuff. And I feel like they had a good conversation. I know this. So here's part of the conversation that's gonna piss off the mellometers, and y'all ain't gotta like it. But again, be respectful in the comments. That's all I'm gonna say, because I will block you because I just don't have the energy. Okay. I already stated how I feel like Kimmy is the only person that was real with Melody about why she didn't come to the filming. But I also, and I know y'all not gonna agree or like what I'm about to say, I understand where Tisha was coming from too. I honestly agree. I understand. Listen, even though it was not Melody's event, and even though Melody and Tisha are getting in a better place, they're moving forward. Listen, you embarrassed the hell out that woman. Like you really embarrassed that woman. And her thing was, listen, I'm gonna be honest. If you don't invite me, I ain't coming. Because the last time I called myself showing up to support you, you very nicely had me escorted out on camera and you embarrassed the hell out of me. So am I in a rush to run to a situation that I wasn't invited to? And again, I go back to my earlier comments. The whole cast should have been invited. The whole cast should have been. It really shouldn't have been on Mel to invite anybody. It should have been on Carlos. And there's no reason in the world why the people that were on that show were not invited. I'm sorry. That's how I feel. But if I'm Tisha, I'm going to be honest with you. We cool. We taking baby steps. We moving forward in our situation, but we are not where we were. We are not friends. We are not close. We are not tight. We are moving through things and trying to figure it out the best way we can. But I know the last time I showed my ass up down to an event that you was filming, that you were throwing, and I call myself supporting you, even though we weren't in the best situation, baby, you escorted me out. So yes, you need to let me know that I am welcome. Absolutely you do. Absolutely you do. And I was with her on that. I'm serious. I was with her on that. This is the other thing that y'all not gonna like. The mellometers that y'all not gonna like. I love how Kimmy got Melody together because, see, Melody is always quick to talk about who's not there for her and who doesn't do this for her and who doesn't do that for her. But when she tried to throw Kimmy and Tisha out there about when nobody checked on me, when all that stuff happened with Martell, y'all didn't check on me, Kimmy was like, oh, yes, I did. And then Melody was like, well, you texted me. You didn't call me. She said, but. I called you first. Your voicemail box was full. And I even put that in the text and said, tried to call you first. Your mailbox was full. But I can understand. You probably got a lot of people reaching out to you. Just checking in. Call me if you need me. Let me know if you need something from me. See, Kimmy has been dealing with Melody and her passive-aggressive ways long enough to understand this is how I need to handle Mel. And you saw what happened with Melody do. Melody, shut the fuck up. I apologize. I'm sorry. No, you were absolutely getting ready to make it seem like they weren't there for you. You were trying to make it seem like them people wasn't there for you. Now, Tisha was like, yeah, you right. I ain't called. Tisha said, you right. I ain't called, girl. She said, listen, our situation is still so fragile. I don't never know whether you want me to reach out or you don't want me to reach out. Like, I just don't know where I stand right now. I don't know where we stand. I don't know where I stand. I don't know how this situation stands. So Tisha was like, you right, I didn't. You right, I didn't. But Kimmy was like, what you not gonna do? You're not gonna put me in it. I called you first. I texted you. I sure did. And I love that Kimmy put it in the text. Tried to call you first. Your mailbox was full. Child. So I was here for that, and I appreciated it. Shout out to Kimmy. Now, I'm going to give Kimmy, y'all know I'm still mad at Kimmy a little bit, but I'm going to give Kimmy a ding, ding, ding for those two things. For one, being honest with Melody about why she didn't come to the podcast, and two, letting Melody know, I called you, girl, and I texted you. I sure did. I did. Now, I appreciate that Melody broke down for them people what had happened and why she came after Martell. Because from the outside looking in, I can understand that it looked like Melody was just being malicious. But when you put it into context, that she had let it go until she found out there was a plot to put the tape out. And Martell lies so much, he can't even get his lies together. We're going to get to him later on with his lying ass. Oh, I can't stand Martell ass. I cannot. I just can't stand his ass. And I agree with Tisha not calling or knowing when is a good time, because Mel always says she wants nothing to do with them after they film. Right, Shantia, and that's my thing. Like, Melody, you are a victim of your own words, right? You tell them that after filming, you need a break. You tell them that they're just co-workers, they're not friends. You tell them these things, but then when it's time to create a scene, now it's a different conversation. I agree with you 100%, Shantia, on that one. Mel talks about her downtime away from the show and breaking off from the cast when they aren't filming, so I understand. Tisha saying, I don't know when the right time. Right. I understood Tisha. Again, and And I appreciate Tisha being honest about it, right? See, here's the thing I loved about that scene was that I feel like they were being very honest with Mel. It wasn't aggressive. It wasn't nasty. It wasn't rude. It wasn't taking shots. It wasn't none of that. It was just an honest conversation, right? It was a very honest conversation, and I appreciated that. And this is what I would like for Mel to do. And if she's done it for the Mellometers, if she has done it, fine. Because I don't watch all of her lives, and y'all know I didn't watch last season. So if she has done it, fine. I would like for Melody to make a distinction between the Mellometers that love her, that support her, that are fans, and the fanatics. Melody cannot control people. Full stop. She cannot control people. If somebody loves Melody that much and they want to do the things, some of the things that these people have done, she can't stop that. But what she can do is make a distinction between the people that she calls Mellometers, that she considers to be a part of her team and her tribe, and the fanatics that do the extreme things. And again, if she has done that, then thank you. But I don't watch all of her lives, so let me say that. That's like yesterday, this lady was on live yesterday crying uncontrollably about Nicki Minaj, and y'all better let her go now, and y'all better What was you gonna do? What was you gonna get on the plane, go over to the Netherlands, and break her out of jail? Like, what was you gonna do? You spin a narrative to make them look like they always coming for her. Of course, they can only talk about the things behind your back when you make it clear if they face something else. Shantia, I think I know what you're trying to say, but I think you missed a few things in there. But I think I know what you're trying to say, baby. Yeah, so they talked about Sonny. And again, I think Mel was being honest and saying, listen, yes, the crowd was giving Sonny a lot of heat because it don't look good. And again, I'm going to give Tisha credit because last week when Tisha met up with Sonny, with Kimmy and Sonny, baby, Tisha was like, yeah, that's trifling. Like, and it was so funny because she kept using the word trifling. I was laughing. Tisha was like, yeah, no, I don't have nothing else but trifling. It was trifling. I don't have another word. It was trifling. And it is, and it was, and ain't nobody going to change my mind about it. Especially after this conversation with Destiny and Moses. Ain't nobody going to change my mind about it. To me, it further confirmed, for me it did, it further confirmed how trifling this whole situation was. But we're going to get to that in a minute. Hold on, let me finish going through my notes here. Okay. Mel, Kimmy, Tisha, Kimmy reached the podcast. Okay. Kimmy, Tisha, and okay, Kimmy, Tisha, and Destiny. Can I ask a question? Why does it take Marceau so long to finish a project that involves something for him? And what I mean by that is Kimmy and Maurice done bought that building, renovated that building, and they have rented out all of the suites in that building. She said except for one. They only got one vacancy in that damn office building they bought. They bought that office building 2 seasons ago because I remember them buying it the last season that I watched. So in the time period in which I have not watched the show, they have renovated and rented out all of them suites except for one. Why y'all still working on y'all office building that y'all was working on season 2? That is the same. Now, the only thing y'all have been able to complete is black. That is the only thing. Why are y'all not done with that office part? Tisha talking about it's not quite done yet. Girl, what are y'all doing? Are you waiting for 24 karat gold tile to come in? What the fuck are y'all waiting for? Same thing with this house. Why y'all, what is wrong with the house? Why y'all can't get this house done? I understand what Marceau said about the rocks and how they had to do all this excavating, and it was worse than what they thought it was. But hell, they built Chateau Charest faster than this. Like, it is literally, and I get it. I know that COVID slowed stuff down too, but I'm sorry. Listen, I have seen whole housing developments in my area get built in the time that they still waiting to get this house built. I mean, do they even have a foundation on this house yet? Is it still just a mountain? Is there even a foundation? The last time they showed us, they was pulling them rocks out. Or at least the last time I saw it. Again, I don't know what they showed last season. But the last time I saw it, they was pulling rock. They were still pulling them rocks out. Have we seen a foundation? I think Marceau does most of the work himself, but for paid projects, he probably has hired help. Basically, he's cheap. Yeah, Kimberly, because at this point, you could have got a crew and in probably 2 weeks could finish up that damn office building. Now, the house, that's a different conversation, but I'm sorry. Not only am I not going to be cheap on where I'm going to be living, not only am I not going to chinch on where I live, but I'm going to make sure that my family good. I'm not going to have my family going from rental property to apartment buildings to rental properties to Airbnb. No. Hell, word on the street is he doesn't complete any jobs. So you know her personal stuff not getting that. Cheryl said word on the curb is he don't finish nothing. Word on the curb, Cheryl said they don't finish nothing. Child. So they talked about that. Destiny shows up. Oh, and Melody, that's the other thing too. When they were talking about Destiny, Melody did allude to maybe Destiny. When they said, well, you know, they were talking about Destiny not sleeping with somebody else's man or something. And Melody was like, I don't know what she would do. Well, let me say this. Mel ain't wrong. Because in my opinion, Destiny was moving funny, and the way they edited things, it did make it seem like her and Marceau were close, and that they listen. I'm not saying that I believe that Destiny slept with Martell. Let's be clear. I do not believe that Destiny slept with Martell. But what I am saying is the way they have edited Destiny and Martell's scenes, even this season, where they had that whole thing with the little sexy music playing and Martell walking around looking all ooh, and then it was Destiny. I said, oh, they playing games. Production is trying to put that narrative out there. But I will say this. Destiny... That scene really was just a setup for us to get to the scene where Destiny is going to talk to Moses at the end of the episode, honestly. I mean, once again, she just reiterating the situation. You know, she said that her and Sonny were close. They were friends. She said she's got text messages where Sonny is like, miss you, girl. You know, da-da-da-da-da. They did let us know that Sonny got fired. Now, Carlos has been keeping it cute, saying she was no longer with the company. But they did let us know that she got fired. So now I got questions. What she get fired for? I mean, I know that's not something that Carlos legally can really tell us. But baby, what she get fired for? So she got fired from Kingdom Reign Entertainment. Why? Why? I want to know why she got fired. Because if she got fired for something dealing with maybe inappropriate behavior or inappropriate relationships or something along those lines, now we can link it in with, well, she seems to have a pattern of these things. I don't know. Mel implying that Destiny has been with Martell makes her look insecure. I wonder if she felt that way during the marriage. Kimberly, For the people, little baby know, because little baby not new here. Little baby been here since the beginning. I told y'all that 5 years ago. I told y'all that 5 years ago. For the people who are new here and don't know nothing about, they don't know Really B and Really B's connection to Love and Marriage Huntsville. I told y'all at the very beginning of Love and Marriage Huntsville, I told y'all season 1, that a very good friend of mine was dating one of Martell's friends. And I told y'all a lot of stuff as it relates to Melody and Martell, which is the reason why I have the opinion that I have about Melody, because I knew things and I still know things. And a lot of the things that some of the stuff I told y'all has come to be true, right, little baby? Some of the things that I told y'all that wasn't public information has now come out and become public information. Did I not tell y'all that? Now, I still can't stand Martell. Let's be very clear. I still think that Martell is an ass. I still think he's a narcissist. And I still think that he is a terrible human being. But when you say, I believe that Melody was insecure during the relationship. Now, did Martell make her insecure? Melody said, like what? Well, here's a perfect example of something that has come out after the fact that people didn't know during season 1, but we now know to be true. For example, it's so much. Hold on, So, for example, Melody alluded to the fact that her and Martell had separated. Remember during season 1 that her and Martell had separated? But the fact that they absolutely were not together, that they only got back together to film the show. We now know that that's the case. When they did the original sizzle reel for Carlos, they were together, but by the time Carlos decided to pick up the show, they were not together. And they got back together for the purposes of the show. Something else that I told you guys was they had agreed that they weren't going to talk about the affair. You can't hear me? Who can't hear me? Y'all can't hear me? Okay. Yeah, they agreed that they weren't going to talk about the affair. They agreed that they weren't going to talk about the affair. And if you go back to season 1, episode 1, that very last scene where Melody brings up the affair, you can see everybody's face and they're like, wait, what? Because the agreement was they weren't going to talk about the affair. Because let's be clear, everybody knew about Ariane. It was not a secret. It wasn't, everybody knew about Ariane. Everybody knew about Ariane. But they weren't going to talk about it on the show. Melody brought it up. So, the situation, remember when Melody, she has admitted it now that Melody rolled up on Ariane with some people. She drove to Ariane wasn't even living in Alabama anymore. She was living in a whole different state. And Melody drove to that woman's house to whoop her ass. Now, again, I ain't saying she was wrong for it. Let's be clear. I ain't saying she was wrong for it. But these are the kinds of things that I told y'all season 1 that has now come out. This is the stuff that has now come out, right? Melody absolutely knew about Ariane. Yeah. But the biggest one was that they weren't supposed to talk about the affair. And Melody was the one that brought up the affair. Mel did not agree, according to Kimmy, at the reunion. Martell asked him not to bring it up, not Mel. Well, I'm gonna just say that's not how it was relayed to me, but whatever. Mel did not agree. Okay. So anyway, but yeah, if y'all go back to my season 1 reviews, child, I was telling y'all all kinds of stuff. Because again, at the time, a good friend of mine was dating one of Martell's best friends, and she didn't watch the show, so she was like, "There's some show," and when I was telling her, she was like, "What?" Because she didn't, like I said, she didn't watch the show. Yeah, I didn't think that was true either. Powerful. That's not my understanding. My understanding is that they agreed that they weren't going to talk about the affair. That was my understanding. But again, I'm not about to argue about something that happened 4 years ago. But yeah. So anyway, again, I'm not saying, again, I'm not defending Martell at all, because I still think Martell is an ass. But yeah, moving on, because I ain't about to rehash and argue with nobody over it. Okay, so what else I say? Where I leave off? Martell and Nell, Nell. I have to keep saying Nell and Mel, Mel and Nell, but Martell and Nell, Nell. I wrote Marceau, Moses. I gotta do it better. Maurice. Oh, that's the next scene. Martell met up with Nell, and Nell basically confronted him and was like, Nell was like, "Look, bro, I had your back. I was really trying to go to bat for you, but then after I talked to Melody and I got more information, like, you had a tape. You were gonna put a tape out. I wasn't gonna put no tape out. She was bullying. Every time Martell says she was bullying me, it does something to me. It does something to it makes my skin crawl every time he says, she was bullying me. She was bullying me. I just wanted her to stop bullying me. Like, it just does something to it makes my skin crawl. Right, respectfully cheating. That was season 1. That was the very last scene of season 1. They were at somebody's house for dinner. It was either, I think they were at Kimmy and Maurice's house for dinner. And Melody brought up respectful cheating. Yep, that's what it is. Right, Auntie Didi. I remember in another reviewer's reviews, he would say Mel and Martell's house of hodgepodge and thrown together because they moved back in 2 weeks before they filmed. Yeah, they weren't together. They got back together to do the show. Carlos has said they agreed on behind the scenes show after the first season. Yeah, they agreed. He said he was shocked that man. Right. That's what I thought, SCK. But like I said, I ain't arguing. Listen, I was gonna say something, and it was gonna come off disrespectful. So let me pause. I'm not arguing over stuff that I know that happened 4 years ago. Like, if it was this season, I might go back, but I ain't about to argue over something that happened 4 years ago, child, 5 years ago. All right, I'm trying to hurry up and get this done so I can do my Bridgerton review before I leave, because I'm going to brunch with some friends. So I'm trying to get y'all Bridgerton review before I leave too, for the people who want it, who've been waiting for it. I was gonna do it last night, but y'all know I've just been. I was tired. I was out all day yesterday, and if you remember, I uploaded a video with my mom, so y'all can hear my mom. Y'all can't see her, but y'all can hear her. She's in really good spirits. She's doing a lot better, so so y'all can hear the video. I mean, y'all can see the video. I put that on members only. Okay, back here. See, I'm getting off track. Marcel went in depth about how he feels about the issue of his interview with Dustin last night. He let Martell have it. Okay, I'll listen to that. When I go out today, I'll listen to that. I'll listen to that. So, because listen, I like Marceau. I know that Marceau is an ass, but I love Marceau. I really do. Because I ain't married to him. You know what I'm saying? But like, I could go to Black and have a stick with him. Like, I could sit down and have a stick with Marceau. I don't know if people want to have a stick with me, but I could. I like Marceau. So anyway, so Martell is whining to Nell, Nell. Martell, I'm gonna say, child, what their last name? Fletcher. I'm gonna just say Miss Fletcher, because I don't want anybody to misunderstand me saying Nell for male, child, because Lord knows that'll be a whole. Nell didn't film with Martell, child. I don't even want to have that conversation. But she basically did let Martell know that she, felt like he misrepresented what happened, and that she is not here for any type of revenge, PORN, and that he feels like that. She feels like that's disrespectful, and at the end of the day, the kids are the ones that's going to suffer. She also let him know that she was having a birthday party, and because of Martell and Mel's situation, she basically had to choose one, and so she chose Mel. And baby, Martell's feelings was hurt. You could always tell when Martell in his feelings because he makes that stupid face. I don't care. I don't care. I don't want to. Who wants to party with a bunch of 60-year-olds anyway? I don't care. Child, by your feelings was hurt. You was in your feelings. I mean, she didn't have to tell me. She didn't have to make it worse by telling me. I didn't even know about the party. Sir, you would have known about the party because everybody else would have been at the party. So then you would have known, and then you would have felt some kind of way. I have to watch myself interview with Dustin. Hopefully, that's why I stopped watching the Dustin interviews. Like, I like Dustin, but it's clear that he's very pro Carlos. Like with the Love and Marriage the Love and Marriage DC ones, I really did not enjoy at all. I did not enjoy his reviews with Carlos, and I did not enjoy some of those interviews because, it was almost like it was Carlos. You know what I'm saying? Martell he is absolutely a grown child. Thank you, Natty. He is absolutely a grown child. Funny thing was Mel put up on Ari, but didn't do anything but talk. Maybe the drive calmed her down. Who knows? Maybe, child. I have to watch I just read that. Okay, right. We had it was funny. I wish I had filmed the whole thing because we had a whole conversation about the playgrounds of today versus what we did. Like, we had a whole conversation, but I was like, I wish I had filmed the whole thing. But I'm going to listen to it though, y'all. I am going to listen to it because I want to hear what Marceau has to say. So that was pretty much that conversation. And then Martell called Nell a side chick. And again, Martell doesn't know how to have adult conversations. So when things don't go his way or people don't say things that he likes, that all he knows how to do is throw jabs and be disrespectful. And Mel let it be known, let's be clear, I was not a side chick. I met Chris. He was separated. When I found out he was still married, I stopped messing with him until the paperwork was in. And let's be clear, what we're not going to do is sit here and act like people aren't separated and still date. People do it all the time. If you are legally separated and you and your spouse are no longer living in the same residence, or hell, sometimes living in the same residence, but y'all are legally separate or not together anymore, we know that people date while they're still married. Martell, the problem, that is not what a side chick is. A side chick is when you are still living as a married couple, going home to your wife, sleeping in your wife's bed, having sex with your wife, pretending to everyone, including your wife, that you are happily married, that you are in this relationship, full throttle, yet you have a whole side relationship, somebody that you call your girlfriend, which is what Martell called Ariane in season 1 when they were at Kimmy and Maurice's wedding, and him and Melody were up on the top of that boat arguing, and he called that woman his girlfriend. I knew then. I said, did he just say that was his girlfriend? So that is a side chick. Ariane is a side chick. Thus the name Coleslaw. Nell was not a side chick. And even though I joked at the beginning of this episode about Ken being a side chick, he ain't a side dude. Technically, he's not a side dude either because this woman is legally separated. They just ain't finished the paperwork, but she ain't living with her husband. Her husband ain't living with her, and they are very public and out about their relationship. They just still married until they get the paperwork together. So I was joking about that, but technically he's not a side chick. Okay. I was joking though. I was just trying to make a point. Okay. Flag on the play. They call Kimmy a side chick for the same thing. I get the difference, but most don't. Right. And that's the same thing with Kimmy. Maurice wasn't even living in the same state as his wife. But I never went with, and we're going to get to that side chick conversation. As a matter of fact, let me just go because we're about to go right to the next scene. Because the next scene is Marceau, Moses, and Maurice down to black. So let me go on. Thank you, Kid, because that's just going to segue me right into my next moment. Maurice, see, this is why Maurice and Kimmy used to be my favorites, but y'all know that the last straw for me was that whole situation when Maurice and the Kimmy having sex with him situation. It just did something to me. That just did something. Hey, Xavier Boo. I was wondering where you were. That just did something to me, y'all. Y'all know it just did something to me. Now, with that being said, but with that being said, Maurice, you know how you sat there and you cleared up everything when you were talking to Moses about Kimmy being a side chick, and you broke down that timeline and you were very clear and concise about when you started dating Kimmy, how long it had been since you've been with your wife, what the status was between you and your wife, and all of that. Did you hear how concisely you broke that shit down? Why you couldn't have done that 3 seasons ago? When the rumors first started about Kimmy being a side chick, that is what Kimmy has been asking you to do for 3 seasons. She has been asking you to be very clear and concise about the timeline for 3 seasons. And until you are talking to a whole nother person trying to help him out, now all of a sudden you can break it down for everybody and make it clear why Kimmy was never a side chick. I don't understand. You have had multiple opportunities to have that conversation throughout the seasons, and your attitude was, I don't have to defend nothing. We know what it is. Kimmy wasn't no side chick. Like, you feel that's the one thing about Marceau and Maurice that irritates me, and I guess it's how they were raised because they're brothers and both of them do the same thing. They feel like just because they say it, you're supposed to just accept it and move on. That is not how the world works. Is that what it was, Xavier? He didn't want to upset Kiowa? He didn't want to. There are some circle in the block and separate. Now, that's true too, Auntie Dee. There are definitely some circle in the block of relationships and marriages and separations. That's why in some states, the law is very specific about sexual relations. It's not even about whether you were living in the same residence. It basically was like, when was the last time y'all had sex? When was the last time y'all had sex? Because that's what we going by. You know? They're trying to break this down for Moses and let him know how rough this is going to be on him, how messy the whole situation is, and how basically the commenters, the bloggers, the reviewers, the blah, 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 how hard it's going to be. And Moses was like, man, I don't care. I'm good. I already know what it is. Which this further tells me, hey, Cross Country Cruiser Boo, this further tells me that Moses wanted to be on the show and Destiny kept him off the show. Because he is way too eager to jump in and think he got it all figured out. That says to me that Moses really wanted to be on the show and Destiny kept him off the show. That's how I feel. Now, I could be wrong, but that's how I'm walking away from this. That is how I am walking away from this. I think Moses needs to check every month. He's not really swift. Yeah, Moses, the more and more I see Moses on screen, the more and more I'm looking at Destiny like, that's who you was messing with? Because they just don't seem equally yoked. I'm going to leave it at that. They don't seem equally yoked, child. Stormy, Courtney, Ken, and Trish. I feel like I already talked about this. It was like watching paint dry. They went to the gym together, and it was boring as fuck. Courtney told them people he wasn't going to work out. Courtney said, I'm not doing this. I'm not working out. And did y'all see Courtney taking that slow stroll on that? Courtney was taking that slow stroll, honey, or that treadmill. Courtney said, I'm not doing this. I'm not working out. But I feel like I already covered that about Trish talking about, her and Ken's relationship and how rocky it was and her attitude and her temper. I feel like I already covered that. Okay. We talked about the fact that that Trish is still married. And then Ken said, well, I couldn't even be mad because I had my whole situation. They don't pass the snip test. They get married for a check. People in the military do it all the time. Yeah, let me say this. The Sonny Moses situation, that is why I believe it was going on longer than what we think it was going on or what they will admit it was going on. Let me just call the thing a thing. Let me be honest with you. Ken and Trish, Can I just call a thing with this Ken and Trish situation? It's 166 of y'all in here. Please make sure you've hit the like button. If you are not subscribed to our sister channel, y'all know going over there is pinned at the top. Members only on the ReallyBTV side. Everybody else can chat on the ReallyBTV review side. And don't forget to get your saved from Bleach Bomb Bad Build Body t-shirt. Okay. The only reason why Trish is on this show is because she's got a situation with Martell. Now, I don't know who told Carlos about it. I don't know who called production and said it. But the only reason why Trish and Ken are on this show is because Trish had sex with Martell. They're giving us this foundation to try to make us care. They're giving us this whole foundation about her fitness and her relationship and her marriage and her new man. They're giving us this. They are laying this whole foundation because they want us to try to care about them before they drop that bomb. Well, number one, we already saw it in the trailer. So I honestly don't care about none of this because you already showed it to me in the trailer. And I don't know who told Carlos, but somebody done told production or Carlos. It was probably them. I used to mess with Mark. It was probably, I'm going to tell you who it probably was. It was probably either Stormy or Trish herself. I got a situation with Martell. Me and Martell used to yada, yada, yada and the boo, boo, boo. And Carlos was like, get him on the show. There is no other reason. Because there's nothing about them. They don't film well. Like I said, Trish can't even open up her mouth. They don't film well. Right? There was no... And it takes me back to when Carlos was talking to Winter and Ashley when he did his interview with them during during the Love and Marriage DC season, and he said that when he found out that the Duncans had a connection to Joy, and that with the whole band and Joy, that he said that's why he wanted them on the show. He never wanted them on the show because he was interested in their story or what they could bring to the show. He was interested in their connection to Joy and how he could turn that into a storyline. Because when Joy wouldn't cooperate, he threw the Duncans away. When Joy wouldn't film and wouldn't play up that storyline the way Carlos wanted her to, he threw the Duncans away. So it was never about the Duncans. It was never about what they could bring to the show, what other things they had going on, their many businesses and connections to the community and all the different things that they do. It was never about that. It was about this messy ass storyline. So let's be clear. That is the only reason why Trish and Ken are on this show. They gave us this whole foundation, and then next week they're gonna drop the bomb from the review. From the trailer for next week. It looks like that's what we're gonna find out about her and Martell's connection. And that is it. That is all. So I'm gonna just call a thing, child. I'm gonna just call a thing. So then we saw Martell with Chris. I'm glad to see Martell with no builder's license done finished a house faster than Marceau done finished his office space for his own business. But neither here nor there, child. Neither here nor there. Right. Oh, we powerful. We said that. That's not only is that the only reason why Sonny is on the show. That's the only reason why Carlos brought Destiny back. And like I said, I've said it and I will continue to say it. And I don't mean no disrespect to Destiny, but I feel bad that Destiny needed a check that badly because I refuse to believe that there would be any other reason why she would put herself through this embarrassment other than the fact that she needs the check. And I know that they say Carlos don't pay his people a lot of money, but it's more than zero. And that is my honest belief that is the only reason why Destiny is back is because of this messy ass storyline. If Sonny and Moses had not gotten married, we would not be seeing Destiny. And I truly believe that. I truly believe that. Neither here nor there. We see Chris roll up on Martell. That house is cute. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I think I'm gonna do in my back bedroom, you guys, where I am putting up where I'm working on my studio, even though I know y'all feel like it's never gonna happen. I think part of it too, y'all, is I don't like change. I am horrible with change, right? And I'm just nervous about going back upstairs and filming there, right? Because it's set up. Like I could do videos there. Like I have a computer, I have a light, I have a microphone. Like, well, I don't have a microphone, but I have I can film up there. But anyway, I think I'm gonna do the barn because I have the closets with like the doors that pull open and they keep coming off the track. I think I'm gonna get those barn doors. I like them. I think they're cute. I think I'm gonna get those barn doors for my closet upstairs. I'm putting that on my DIY list. I mean, not DIY because I'm not doing it myself, but I'm gonna put that on my I'm gonna start pricing the doors and see how much they cost, and because I know I can get my cousin to put them in for he'll put them in for me for like a case of beer. But I'm gonna price them and get a price and stuff on them because I think they're really cute. I like them. Anyway, I live in Waldorf and they have built 2 different sections in my neighborhood. They have built 4-story townhomes and luxury homes. That's what I'm saying, Sheila. And shout out to Waldorf. I'd be down. I was just down there. Look, I was just down at St. Charles Mall. That's where I get my nails done. I go to the nail shop at St. Charles Mall. I was just down there Friday. Because I live sort of in between Waldorf and Bowie, right? Where I live, I could, if I go one way, it take me just as long to get to Waldorf as it take me to get to Bowie. So depending on what I want to do and which direction I feel like driving. And they have the same thing in both directions. They got a mall in Waldorf, a mall in Bowie. They got pretty much the same stores. It just depends on where I feel like going. Food places, you know, all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying, Sheila. But yeah, like I have literally seen housing developments being built. Like from on my way to when I do go to Bowie, they're building a whole new townhouse development. They building a brand new Sheets groceries. I mean, a gas station. All that shit. Anyway, you love the barn. I do. I love the barn doors. So I'm gonna like I said, I'm gonna start pricing the doors because I don't know how much the doors cost. I'm gonna go on Home Depot's website and just start pricing them. But I really like that. I saw it because I've been seeing them a lot. I think I stayed at the hotel where I stayed last weekend. The bathroom door was a barn door. I ain't like it for a bathroom door. Now I didn't like it as a bathroom door, but I do like it for a closet. I do like it for a closet door. I did not like it as a bathroom door though. I must be honest. I'm sorry, y'all. See, I be going left. Okay, I'm almost done. I really was trying to make this an hour. It's an hour and 10 minutes. We almost done. So Nell basically let Martell know, don't be disrespecting my wife. Like, she not a side chick. She never was a side chick. She ain't gonna be no side chick. And then Martell sat there and lied dead up to that man's face about it not being a video. And he tried to act like he didn't send Mel nothing. And then he was like, well, you ask her. See, whenever somebody try to deflect like that, you know they lying. And when it's Martell, when he opened his mouth, you know he lying. Like, how do you know Martell Holt is lying? If his mouth is open. Because everything that come out that man's mouth is a lie and a misrepresentation. Okay? He's just a fucking liar. But he was up there talking about some, yeah, I don't think she was a side chick. See, Xavier, you came in late when I went through the definition of a side chick. I missed a lot of that last season, so I don't know. But neither here nor there. My thing is this. Even if it were true, which I don't believe is true, but I don't know. I didn't watch all of the interviews and all of that. If Martell is supposed to be your friend, why are you out here calling my wife out? Like that's not like, you're supposed to be my friend. You know what I'm saying? But that's why I said Martell ain't here for nobody but Martell. Nobody but Martell. And if anybody believes differently, I got a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you. If you don't understand that, he is not here for anybody but himself. Anybody but himself. Right. That whole conversation was frustrating, and he was lying. It is a video. You did threaten to put the video out. There's a whole audio recording of your side chick thoroughly breaking down the plan. And let's be clear, I don't believe, and here's the thing, I don't believe that Ariane was lying because she didn't know she was being recorded. And she thought she was talking to somebody that she could trust. So, see, if it were a situation where she knew she was being recorded, or she was like, oh, this is an interview, then I could say, okay, maybe she was trying to throw Martell under the bus because she was mad at him at the time or whatever. But when it is a pure recording of somebody that's in a comfortable space where they think they're talking to a friend and they just telling their business, I believe everything Ariane said. I do. Now, again, if she were on a live and she just said it off the top of her head, then nah. If this were like, I'm interviewing you, do you mind if I record what you're saying? Then nah, I'd be like, nah. But when you did not know you were being recorded, and it was so detailed. Martell, you a freak, because I done already said it too many times. You are a freaking liar, and the truth ain't in you, bro. Now let's get to this last conversation with Destiny and Moses. Now I understand that some people are having an issue with this scene. Let's be clear. I just told y'all why we had to sit through this scene, because that's the only reason why Destiny is here. The only reason why Destiny is here is for her to constantly be humiliated throughout this season for a storyline. That's it. That's all. That's all. We have not asked Destiny what she's doing now that Madani is closed, how she making ends meet, what's her next move. Like, every time we see her, she's showing up in designer this and designer that, which we all know is probably rented or borrowed, child. But she showed up in that brand new Mercedes SUV truck. Destiny, none of us are buying it, ma'am. None of us are buying it. Like, I'm here for you keeping up a good front and presenting well. I ain't mad at you. You ain't supposed to show up looking dusted and disgusted. I understand that. But let's be clear, none of us are none of us are buying it. Okay? We're not buying it, and that's my opinion. Who's beef with Chris Fletcher? So what let me tell you what I walked away from in that conversation. Destiny and Moses were together. Things weren't going well. Sounds like in April, they probably had we're going to walk away from this. We've come to the end of the road conversation, but they continue to have sex. That is what it sounds like to me. Because when Destiny said, well, you continue to love me until August, to me, I feel like that was a nice way of her saying we continue to have sex. Now, here's what I'm going to say about this. If they lived in the same city, then I'd be like, well, sometimes couples, like we just said earlier about when people are separated and they circle the block. Okay, well, sometimes couples, find themselves falling into bed. They find themselves, in the middle of the night making a booty call. Doesn't mean that we got back together. Doesn't mean that we're in a relationship again. However, in this situation, that's long distance. If y'all were still seeing each other, that means somebody was still putting in an effort. That means that either he was still coming to Huntsville or she was still going down to Louisiana or St. Louis, wherever the hell he lived. And that means that people were putting in an effort. That's a long way to go for a booty call. So, yes, maybe in August, we had this conversation. We ain't together. It's not me and you, blah, blah, blah. But then 2 weeks later, you sent me a plane ticket, or 2 weeks later, I bought a plane ticket. You see what I'm saying? So what it says to me was, Moses, you were messy. Moses, this did overlap. Destiny absolutely thought that y'all was still doing something. She felt like something was still going on with y'all well into August. She said you were still sending her the good morning baby text, the how was your day baby afternoon text. You were still telling her you loved her. Listen, we're not going to play games and we're not going to play semantics. Moses talking about well, I told you I was done in April. But if you were still traveling or letting me travel and you were still texting me every day and we were still talking every day, that don't mean shit. Couples get into fights all the time and be like, F you, I'm out of here. I'm going home. I don't want to be with you anymore. And then 2 weeks later, y'all at the movies. Couples do it all the time. And because this was long distance, that means that there was effort put into y'all seeing each other and spending time together. Moses talking about something, you weren't there for my birthday, and I felt like I wasn't a priority. Why wasn't she there for your birthday, bruh? I mean, I don't know, but I would be interested in finding out. Is it because she was dealing with situations? We know she had some legal situations happening. We know that she is still fighting custody with her ex-husband. Could she leave? Did she have the finances to fly down? Did you offer a plane ticket to fly her down? I don't know. How long? What's the driving distance between Huntsville and, is it St. Louis? Can somebody Google that for me, please, and find out how far of a drive it is from Huntsville, Alabama to St. Louis? Is that where he lives, St. Louis? Please, somebody, can y'all Google that? I'm just interested. I'm curious. So, listen, bruh, you absolutely, positively cheated on Destiny, misled Destiny, and you were dating Sonny and Destiny at the same damn time. We're not going to blur those lines, and we're not going to mince those words, and I don't care what anybody said. Right, Destiny said you sent her money in August. Now, again, you could say, well, we've been friends for a long time. It's 6 hours. Okay, so that's a 6-hour drive. That's a long way to go for a booty call. Now, 6 hours ain't shit. Y'all know I do road trips all the time. 6 hours is me going to Charlotte. And y'all know I drive to North Carolina all the time. But I still don't wake up in the middle of the night and be like, thank y'all for Googling it for me. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. But y'all know that I don't wake up in the middle of the night and be like, Abby, I'm going to be in Charlotte in 6 hours. No, we have conversations. You know I'm coming. I don't just pop up nowhere that I got to drive 3, 4, 5, 6 hours to get to. So let's be clear, sir. Even if y'all weren't flying, even if y'all were driving back and forth, that's a commitment. A 6-hour drive is a commitment. You packed a bag, you're going to be there a couple of days. You don't drive 6 hours for a booty call. He asked her to show the text. Well, she said she got him. Now, I don't know if she really got him or not, child, but she said she got him. Now, I don't know if she do. But I believe her. I believe Destiny. Now, do I believe that they were having problems? Yes. Do I believe that they were arguing a lot in between that? Absolutely. I don't think they were in a good space. But I do believe that Destiny felt that they were in a situation where they were working on their relationship. That is my belief. That is my belief. That Destiny thought they were in a situation where they were working on their relationship. That's what as far as Sonny is concerned, I don't understand why Sonny got all this energy for Destiny. Like, first of all, I feel like you should be out of it. That's between Moses and Destiny. Like, the fact that she's got all this energy and all this anger towards Destiny, I don't understand why. Like, as woman to woman, even if it went down the way y'all said it went down, which ain't true, because he can't remember. Every time somebody asks him, all he can say is, July, August, June, July. Like, bruh, y'all lying. Because on the podcast, didn't they say that Destiny and Moses broke up in January? Now he's saying April. Didn't they say January? If I'm wrong, put it in the chat. Let me know I'm wrong, because I don't want to be wrong. But I thought they said January when Carlos asked him about it, that Destiny and Moses broke up in January. Now he's saying April. Then this story all over the place. She's mad because from her perspective, Destiny was sleeping with her man. But that's bullshit. When you met her, she was sleeping with him. Like, you can't have that perspective. She got the energy she has because she knows she was or has some type of relationship. Right. January the 3rd. Right, Symmetry. So now last night it was April. You see what I'm saying? You're lying. Because that's a big difference. January to April, that is a 4-month window. That's a big difference. January was the last time he saw her. Oh, okay. Well, that can't be true either. If Destiny said, well, she didn't say sex, I interpreted sex. So maybe that's a bad interpretation then. She said you were still loving on me. Okay. Now, Destiny, I do have that question. Now, if you hadn't seen that man, and if you hadn't seen him since January and it was now August, now Destiny. Oh, they ran it too. Okay. Like I said, I don't want to be wrong with the dates. But anyway, y'all, that was the 2 episodes. I ain't mean for this to be an hour and a half because I really thought it was only going to take. But y'all know I get to run in my mouth. Now I'm getting ready. The Bridgerton review. I'm gonna do that before I leave out of here. So for those of you who have been waiting for Bridgerton, season 3, episode 1 review, I'm gonna go ahead and record it right now. I'm not gonna get up from this spot, so I'm gonna record it right now before I get up to get dressed. This evening, depending on what time I get home, we'll do something tonight. I don't know what it's gonna be, but we're gonna do something tonight. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you, Des Hobb. So Maurice asked and messed around and got arrested for DUI yesterday. So I have a couple of questions. Question number 1, how the hell you get arrested in the afternoon for DUI? Unless the paperwork is wrong, baby, on that paperwork, it say he got arrested at 12 o'clock p.m. Sir, how are you that drunk? Now, they said that they was down to the brunch with Funky Dineva, and they was drinking with Funky Dineva. But y'all, can I say this? And he lucky as hell he didn't sit in jail until Tuesday. Because it's a holiday weekend too. They said he got bonded out last night. But he lucky as hell he didn't sit. I don't know. I guess they had a magistrate come in on Saturdays down in Alabama. Because I know up here in DC, you get arrested on a Friday, baby. You are there until Tuesday. The brunch is today. Oh, the brunch is today. Well, didn't they say that they had footage of him with Funky Dineva at Black? Y'all want Summer House tonight? So I'm going to say this. In this day and age, I really have no respect for a person. He got arrested at the pre-show. Right. Maurice, number 1, you are an attorney. So you have now put your career in jeopardy. Number 2, you have money. You could have got an Uber Black. Number 3, you were at your brother, allegedly, you were at your brother's establishment, which means that there were any multiple of people that could have gotten you home. It sounds like if he got arrested at 12 o'clock, let me tell you what it sounds like happened. It sounds like he went somewhere. He did go, they were there Black Friday night and he got drunk. It sounds like he slept somewhere because he still had on the same clothes from Friday night, right? According to the footage. Y'all ever been so drunk that you wake up and you still drunk? Have y'all ever been so drunk that you fall asleep, you wake up and you are still drunk? The officer at the jail said Maurice didn't have to see a judge. They put him in a 12-hour hold. Oh, they put him in a drunk tank. Okay. They just put him in a drunk tank. Now, that's still interesting. If they charged him with a DUI and he didn't have to see the judge, that's interesting. So, you woke up and you still felt somebody was drunk. I mean, you still felt, and you got your ass in that car and tried to drive home. That's what had happened. That's what it sounded like happened. And unfortunately for you, you ran into a cop that was like, something don't look right here, and pulled you over, and you were still, clearly, you still blew, or it was enough of a suspicion. So, I'm going to say this. You said it was a misdemeanor. What'll probably happen, you guys, if he's a first-time offender, they'll probably give him the opportunity to take a class or whatever. He'll take the class, and it'll probably come off of his license in a couple of years if they give him any point. Like I know up here, I had when I worked for the union, we had a teacher that had gotten a DUI, and it came up. It had happened after she became a teacher, and it's something that came up in. You know how we do after, they do a background check every couple of years. And she had gone into a program where she took the classes, and then I think like after 2 years or something like that, if she didn't get another one, it would come off of her record. It may be something like that. I mean, the fact that they let him walk out of there, and it's a misdemeanor, it's not that serious. I mean, of course, the bloggers are going to blow it up. They're going to talk about it for the next 2 weeks, child. But it's not, I mean, a DUI is serious. That's not what I'm saying. I mean, the charges aren't that serious. Like, it doesn't sound like he hit anything or anybody. It doesn't sound like he gave the police a hard time. It doesn't sound like, it doesn't sound like he made it worse by being belligerent or anything like that. Even in his mugshot, he looks like, fuck. You know what I mean? The look on his face in his mugshot is like, fuck. Right. Pam said that exactly, Mel. Pam said that when lawyers get their bar license, they get the AA list. Absolutely. Exactly. So I just don't think, I think this is a nothing burger. I saw some bloggers connecting this to his current litigation against some of the other bloggers. Listen, I understand that y'all don't like Maurice and y'all don't like nobody other than Melody. I get it. I understand that there are people who have dedicated their whole YouTube to defending Melody and talking about everybody else on the show. I get that. That's fine. But please understand, it's not that serious. And this has absolutely nothing to do with the current litigation. It's not going to affect it one way or the other. I promise you. Because the lawsuit deals with you guys saying that he had all of these other things on his record prior to. Him doing something now has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that y'all said that this man was a drug dealer and this man had all these arrests and he had a record and he had done all these horrible things. That has absolutely nothing to do with what happened with this DUI. That's probably going to end up getting thrown out. It really doesn't. I need y'all to stop. I saw some bloggers saying, you need to drop the charges. This ain't going to be good for you. Why? I mean, drop the lawsuit. Like, it has absolutely nothing. One has nothing to do with the other. I promise you it doesn't. I know y'all want it to. I know that y'all don't like. I get it, but it doesn't. You know, Melly, I think he is too, to be honest with you. I think based on what I understand the lawsuit to be, and again, the law is a tricky thing, but based on what I understand the law to be, it's really an open and shut case. Now, I know defamation is a high bar, but when Maurice did that video that he informed them that it's not me, that, this is my name, this is who I am. None of those things are true. And I'm going to give you XYZ amount of time to take it down and give me an apology. That was the warning. And I know that from my understanding, some of the bloggers did take the videos down, but others did not. And some even doubled down on it. So we'll see. Again, I don't know. We'll see how it plays out, child. Anyway, let me get off of here. If y'all want me to get Bridgerton done before I get out of here, because Bridgerton is going to probably be at least 20 minutes. And I got to get out of here. I'm not even dressed yet. And I got to be walking out the door no later than 1:15. So y'all want me to do Bridgerton before I leave? Let me go on and get this done. Okay. I will see y'all later on. I see a lot of people saying Summer House. So y'all want me to do the reunion and stuff tonight? All right. Right. Now, Karen's situation... One, because Karen already has prior DUI. So that's a bad, right. So one, Karen already, and then two, Karen towed up the street and the tree and totaled her car. And then they said that she, kind of got a little mouthy with the police officer. So yeah, Karen's situation is different. I'm surprised that she didn't get arrested. I'm really surprised that she was able to walk away, but All right, y'all. Let me talk to y'all later. Mwah! Peace.